Hey, how's everyone? I hope you guys are having a good week so far. You're having a good Tuesday. It is hot outside. It's kind of weird, hot and muggy, but it is beautiful. So I hope you're enjoying the sunlight and having a good day. I wanted to come on here today because I wanted to just fresh out the gate tell you one of, if not the biggest, things that I do consistently that has made a major difference in my life, in my mental health, and how I keep things simple, and how it's transformed me and my family. So, as I said in my earlier video, one of the first ones, when I told you a little bit about my story, things were quite chaotic, and I did find myself laying on the floor talking to my husband saying, I can't do this anymore. One of the big problems I had at that time, and still can go back to, was there was so much information swirling in my head. There was so much that I felt like I needed to do, so many expectations I put on myself, so many ideas, so many thoughts. And so that all was going through my head at all times of the hours and all times of the night. I had a lot of feelings. I had frustrations. I had anger. I had bitterness. I had sadness. I had depression, honestly. I had been on and off Lexapro, and that did help at times, but it wasn't the say-all be-all that I really wanted it to be. So I just had all this stuff swirling. And as we go into the holiday months, we're going to have a lot of stuff swirling. It's just how it is. There is always a lot of stuff swirling. If you live on this planet and you have any technology near you, there is a lot of stuff swirling. So with that being said, one of the biggest things that I do to help me is I journal. I know you might want to cut off the video at this point. You're like, I ain't got time for all that. I don't know who she thinks she is. Hear me out. Number one, I used to journal at night whenever my kids went to bed, because that's when I found myself the most frustrated. Also, that's when I was the most lonely. My husband worked nights in the bartending industry. So I was by myself so much, and I had so many feelings, and I could not get them out. I was lonely. I was frustrated. That was a hard season. So I would journal at night. Plus, when your kids are little and they get up at the early going morning time and you are rushing out the door, sometimes you don't feel like you have time in the morning, and that is completely understandable. The point is to get your feelings out. Now I do get up at 5:30 a.m. and I do journal and write and start my morning off that way. Most mornings. I do sleep in on Saturdays, and then on Sundays I get up and go to church. But for the most part, Monday through Friday, I get up at 5:30 and I do this. So I just want to let you know that it is doable. But here is my strategy for journaling that I think will be helpful to you, because everybody's like, journal. What do I do when I journal? Well, I'm going to tell you there's 4 things that I do and 4 questions I ask myself. So, you ready? Get a piece of paper, write it down. Number 1, what am I feeling? Earth-shattering, I know. No, what am I feeling? What is going on? What's on my mind? What is making me mad? What is making me happy? Am I worried about? What's going on with my kid? What's going on with my marriage? What's going on with our house? What's going on with our life? What's going on with obligations that I'm part of? What's things that I'm scared about? What friends do I need to pray for? What things am I worried about? Dump. Get it out. Get it all out. I can look back at my journals back in those early days of motherhood, and my font, like how big I wrote, was like this big. It was like me just writing because I was so frustrated by so much of my life. I was literally like, how did I get to this place? But I was getting it out. Instead of it marinating and eating me alive, I was getting it out on paper. Now, some of you may say, well, I can't put that stuff out on paper. What if someone comes past it? Well, if that's the case, hide it. Or burn it after you do it, after a couple of days, whatever you got to do, but get it out. Sometimes we don't have people in our life, safe places that we can get out a lot of true things. And at that time, I didn't have someone in my life that I felt like I could go to and say, I don't know if I can do this anymore. I did have good people in my life, but I was so overwhelmed. I didn't even know how to put those thoughts down. I didn't even know what I was feeling. I was just angry. I was just frustrated. I was just scared. So get all of that out. Every morning I get up, that's the first question I ask myself. What am I feeling today? After I dump it all out, all of it, maybe it can be a list format. It could be in a paragraph format. There is no grammar here. There is nothing. Use whatever words you need to use. Get it out. The second thing I do after I get it all out is I say, what does God say about this? Or better said, what is the truth in this situation? If I'm frustrated about my child having MAP testing again today, i.e. that was this morning, and he went to bed last night upset because he knew his scores were below average. If I am worried about that this morning, there is only so much I can do about that. So the truth in that situation is he is who God says he is. He is not a MAP test score. So that is the truth. I start to unravel some of that stuff with truth. Sometimes when I pause and I say, God, what are you saying in this? Sometimes it's just a simple comfort of it's going to be okay. Sometimes it's a blank space and I have to go to the word and I have to Google, God, what do you say about marriage? God, what do you say about anger? Sometimes I pause and pray at that point and I say, God, give me a scripture. And sometimes he will. If you ask God for help, he will help you. So don't be afraid to be bold. Don't be afraid to pop open a Bible and put your finger down on something and see what it says. If you want God to show up in your mess, he will. But you've got to ask him to come into your mess. Sometimes it's just straight up truth. Like if I am worried about a job or something like that, there's some I just can't change. There are things I have no control over. So sometimes the truth is I'm doing the best I can with what I have. I can't control this. But even getting those truths back in there, because we can stay in the dumping phase really, really well. Especially as women, we get together, we like to complain and we like to one-up each other with our drama. But we've got to start injecting some truth, and that starts with ourselves. If we're not putting truth over our souls and our hearts, then we can't impart that on someone else. So start putting truth over. Even if it's just one scripture, even if it's just like today, I can only do what I can do. Maybe today's truth is it's going to be okay. I trust you, God. I trust you, God. That has been my mantra sometimes for months and months on end when I have no answers. So it's not necessarily an answer. It's just looking for truth. The third thing I do is I pray. I have a book, The Power of the Praying Mama, or Power of a Praying Woman by Stormy Ortman. Anyway, I'll send a picture of it to you. I pray those prayers for my husband and for my children, for myself. Sometimes I just read those aloud or read those to myself and pray them internally. Sometimes I just pray and say, God, help me today. I don't know if I can do today. I need help right here. Sometimes it's just like a flare prayer. God, help me today. Sometimes it is one of those that I read out. Those just, don't be afraid to read someone else's prayer that they have written. They have, other people have put together all these words and feel like it's information from God. So why wouldn't we use that? And some of those prayers that I've prayed for my children and my husband are so near and dear to my heart, but I would never have the language to put those in. And prayer can radically change things. And the last thing that I do is I list out 5 things I'm grateful for. My mind's not going to go to gratitude. It's not, I'm going to be negative all day long because that's what I deviate to. I hate to admit it, but I can be grouchy and negative and bitter real quick. And if I don't start my day saying, yeah, but I got this hot cup of coffee right here. I got this soft robe on. I like this quiet space in the dark. I got my hair done, or I, like my new lip gloss, or you can find stuff. And every time it will end up being 10 things. So that little 4-step process is what I do every morning. It is something I've been doing for years. And I know that if I don't fill myself up first, I can't give out. And you and I both know there's a lot of expectations out there on us, whether it be for our children to just live and breathe, and we need to feed them, and we need to clothe them, and we need to change their diapers, or whatever it is, to our husbands and our marriage. We can't give from an empty tank. So that is one thing that I do first thing in the morning. If you can't do first thing in the morning, you're more of a night owl, I challenge you to get you a notebook, put it beside your bed, and dump it out at night before you go to bed. Maybe you'll sleep better. But anyway, just to review, the 4 questions are, and we can talk about this more if you guys want to hear more about this, let me know. I'll tell you a little bit more about my morning routine. But number 1 is, what am I feeling today? Number 2, what is the truth, or what does God say about this situation or these situations? 3, prayer. 4, grateful. It's really simple. I run through it. Some days it's longer than others. Monday morning, I wanted to get to my workout a little sooner, but I knew I needed some more time with the Lord after my weekend drama. So sometimes it's longer, sometimes it's shorter. I hope this video helps you. I hope it's something you can take with you, a little nugget of wisdom. Tell me some things that have helped you that you do in the morning that are essential. I know coffee is a big essential for me. I'm trying to add some water into that. But anyway, let me know. Comment down below. Tell me what you do in the morning, what helps you. And I can't wait to hear more about it. Talk to you soon. Bye.